Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Game Week 5 Deadline stream, and it's live. Hope you're just about ready to get your teams locked in ahead of the 6:30 p.m. UK time FPL Deadline. Before I get into the questions, as per usual, can everybody in the chat please read the pinned question? Cheers. Let me take you through my team. I have made one free transfer, bringing in Kieran Tierney for Ricardo Pereira. -4s and even -8s were debated, but it unbalances my team and my plans for game week 7 too much. I am well aware that Jack Harrison is sick and not going to play, but just in case the information is wrong, I've left him in the team. I fully anticipate Luke Ayling will be coming in for me, which leaves me with nothing spare, but I think all my players will get at least 1 point this week, even if off the bench. Harvey Barnes, possible risk. Otherwise, I expect everyone else to start, to be very honest. Captaincy. It's really bloody straightforward this week. Don't give me any captaincy questions because my answer is going to be Mo Salah. Quite frankly, I should have just put one person on there, to be honest. This is not a week to gamble, in my opinion. Yes, Palace look good so far. So have Liverpool. The others have got relatively difficult fixtures. So, Mo Salah captaincy for me. I've actually gone vice Trent, to be honest. I don't know why I put Jota ahead of Trent on the list, but I did. I just felt like going Trent, personally. Coming onto the screen now, you'll see my predictions for all the games this week as well. And below me, coming onto the screen, is the benching dilemmas graphic, which you'll see below me. 5 pages worth of benching dilemmas. Who should you bench? I guess most of you have got fucking shit this week, but in any case, I would go Adam Armstrong over Damari Gray, Damari Gray over Semedo, Semedo over Ben Rama, Ben Rama over Ward-Prowse, Ward-Prowse over Gallagher, Gallagher over Dennis, Dennis over Williams, Williams over Soufal, Soufal over White, White over Dallas, Dallas over Duffy, Duffy over Ayling, Ayling over Region, Region over Troost-Ekong over Manquillo, Manquillo over Livramento, and in goal, I would go Emi Martinez over Sanchez, Sanchez over Meslier, Meslier over Backman, and Backman over David Raya. If anybody asks any questions that are obviously on the screen, just tell them to listen to, what's that, the first 2 minutes of the stream. Wow, that's good, isn't it? Let's get into the questions. Good luck, everyone. FPL Kaka. Hi, James. I am really unsure on Antonio. I hold him and start Williams and Christensen. With only Livramento my only playing substitute, or do I just do Antonio to Bamford now? Is there anything else? What's the other shit on the bench? I don't think Christensen will play. That's my instinct. I think it'll be Azpilicueta, Thiago and Rudiger as Chelsea's back three. I think Reece James will play right wing back. That's what I think. So you're going to need Livramento. Playing Brandon Williams this week's absolutely fine. I actually fancy Norwich, and I think there could even be a clean sheet in it for them as well. The thing is, do you want Antonio long term? Do you want to be without Antonio for Leeds away next week and Brentford at home in game week 7? My decision was absolutely I do not. So I'm holding. That's going to be the advice. I'm nearly always going to say my advice on Antonio here is to hold, guys. Mohammed says, good evening, James. Hope you're well. Love today's People's Poll. Appreciate that. Who do you prefer, Rodrigo or Pukki? All the best for game week 5. Thanks. Pukki. Definitely Timo Pukki. I expect Rodrigo to put pressure onto Bamford the longer the season goes on. And I also think with what's going on that Rodrigo will probably start for Leeds tonight as well. Definitely Timo Pukki for me. I don't think you want to block 3 Leeds players with a player that might not play regularly, personally. Pedro Gaming 2.0 says, why Pepsi is so angry on fans? Does he give money to buy match tickets? Sometimes we have to look to our basics needs like food. Something rattled Guardiola's cage, didn't it, basically? Why didn't the benching dilemmas come on? They'll come on in a sec. Sorry, guys. He lost the plot earlier, didn't he? There you go. Everyone's entitled to a bad day, I suppose. Lewis Stapleton. So you have an Arsenal player and team being a Tottenham supporter. Yeah, so I don't give a shit, mate. Listen, I've captained Alexis Sanchez against Tottenham before when he was at Arsenal because it was the right thing to do. This is a game. Trust me, listen, I got Kieran Tierney. If that game's 0-0 and Burnley score in the 93rd minute last night, the only people will be more happy about that than me are Burnley fans. Who's next? Mo at Zion. Hi, James. Any free hit plans? Ooh, blimey. It's probably going to be the FA Cup quarterfinals, which I want to say is game week 30 this year. I'll just confirm that for you. He'll tell you in a sec. Possibly. you don't really care about that right now, do you? James, you're wasting my time. Get to my question. What week's the quarterfinals this year? It is game week 30. That's correct. Gary Speak, give brief description on which 5.5 to 6.5 forwards are the best value moving forward. Thanks. I gave big debate bringing in Pookie for a -4. Timing's right if you want to get him. Watford at home. Alright, it's Everton away next week. It's Chelsea away in 9. Other than that, it's brilliant fixtures all the way up to 14. My major concern with buying Timu Pukki is that the fixtures are so good. I'd be going, one more week. Pukki party, yeah, one more week. That's actually my biggest concern. But yeah, net price value at the moment, if I had to buy one, it'd be Timu Pukki. Jerry TCB, hi James, hope you're well. Decided to keep Antonio, but means I need to play 2 out of White, Ayling and Smith Rowe. Which 2 would you play? Thanks, the Arsenal players. Hamid, hey James, dunk out for Semedo for -4. Thanks and good luck. Worth a hit? Nah, not for me, mate. Brighton, Leicester, as we covered on Clash of Correspondence yesterday, notoriously low scoring. Wouldn't even be surprised if that finishes 0-0. Not worth it for me. Tyrell Maxfield, first Bamford, now Raphinha and FPL Twitter trolling us with Leeds players all of a sudden because Leeds now have a great fixture run. My understanding is, from the sources that I trust, that Raphinha will travel to Newcastle this evening. So I think it should be okay. But he's definitely in no buy zone. It's too risky. As soon as I heard, most of you probably would have heard by now, I'm guessing you have, that we think Jack Harrison's probably going to miss the game tonight, unfortunately, with COVID. My first thought was, bang, Raphinha, -4, let's do that. But I can't do that. So Leeds players are in a no-buy zone. That's generally I'm at. The only Leeds player I would consider buying today, right now, is Patrick Bamford. It's the only one. Otherwise, it's got to be a no. You can't buy Raphinha now. He is travelling to the game. It's not certain if he's going to play. That's the news I've got. I think he probably will. He's my captain in Sky Fantasy tonight, so there's a big decision to be made if he's not available. Laxman says, Greenwood to Raphinha question. I have 3 Manchester United players. Salah, Barnes, Pepe, Jota are my other midfielders. Rest of my squad is fine. Should I wait for last minute news on Raphinha injury? I don't know if you're going to get it before deadline, mate. But you can't buy him. As I just said, for me it's a no. You leave it be. There's nothing wrong with having Mason Greenwood this week. Connor Worthine, hi James, thoughts on the Kane to Lukaku free transfer, just roll. Good luck for the week ahead. Yeah, if it's for free, I'd make the move, mate. Get it done. Johannes says, hello James, do you think El Ghazi will start? No. Milan the Villan, hi James, no Leeds attack, 1 free transfer, can't afford Raphinha, you don't want to right now. Ben Rama the Harrison, we think he's out with COVID, or Vardy the Bamford, no, I wouldn't do it because the other 2 might be missing. We'll need to get money out of Vardy soon anyways, or just forget and roll this game week. Yeah, Vardy's got Burnley at home next week while Bamford's got West Ham. Keep on rolling, baby. Bakaya Sequoid says, Calvert-Lewin and Wilson to Odsonne Edouard and Josh King. My friend, if you read the bio of the video, that might help you with your answer. It's no. Why are you coming that far down in money? Is that to get you like a freemium or a fourium? Oh, I'm gonna have to explain what that means now. The freemium is when you go Salah, Ronaldo, and Lukaku all together. No, Odsonne Edouard, I'm not even convinced starts for Crystal Palace tomorrow. You can wait anyway. Josh King. Yeah, 2 decent fixtures. I'm not big on it. Lee Thompson, hi James. Wilson for Jimenez. That's a better sort of move. Richarlison or St. Maximin. Only 7.5 to spend. Open to suggestion. It will be Raul Jimenez, mate. Take the chance. Hamish Holmes says, evening James. Need your help, mate. Is Raf out of the tune tonight or too much fog on the tie-in? I've covered. I'll skip. To be honest, guys, if you've got any Raphinha questions, just retract them because I'm not going to cover them. Just tell people to go back to listen from about minute 6 for a minute or so. TJ Powell, everyone, you know the rules. Don't make me repeat myself. Good luck and be nice to each other. Thanks, brother. Have a good weekend. Vivek Gore, thoughts on going with Vardy for Wildcard? No, it's too expensive compared to the other premiums. I mean, what's the difference between Vardy and Lukaku? 1.5 or so? No, it's not for me, mate. Unless you leave the money in the bank and you want to go Vardy to Lukaku in 7. That would be the only way I could see that. Paul Sweeney, hi James, you legend. Jimenez or Bamford, both with great fixtures. Right now for me it would be Jimenez. Honestly. Pavanar, hey James, hope everything's alright. Thinking of Mahrez, Shimikas to Jota Semedo from -4. Cheers. Yep, don't mind that. That's okay. Mahrez could hurt you tomorrow, but you know that. David O'Regan, hi James, would you take a -4 hit for Bamford or just play Brandon Williams instead? Thanks. It's Brandon Williams, mate. Yeah, I'd fancy them for a clean sheet this week. I think Norwich will win tomorrow. Gareth Payton, who do you think scores highest over the next 3 game weeks? Salah or Bruno? Salah. Vikram says, is St. Maximin a good punt for 2 weeks to replace Tony? It's not the worst. Leeds at home and Watford away. I don't hate it. If you're happy with the rest of your squad, okay. I don't mind it. It wouldn't be a consideration for me. I'd rather go to Pookie. Lewis Cole says, hi James, for wildcard. And don't clip that and play it out loud. Lewis Cole says, hi James, for wildcard, pick one of each. Diaz or Cancelo? Cancelo. Rudiger or James? Rudiger. Jota or Jimenez? Jota. Lexus Steeleman says, thoughts on Barnes to Raphinha from -4. Next question. Adam Keener, hi James, if you still had Morris, would you ditch this week or keep hold like a deluded fool? Me, I think I'd hold. Last week. Has to be the last week, Adam. Has to be the last week. And then he goes. He can do damage in half hour. Chris Bradley says, is there any midfielder except for Jota that is worth taking Morris out this week for a hit? Would have to come down in value. My opinion would be no. Mark Dorney, have Bamford. I think Morris to Jota, he's spot on. Yeah, I'd probably do it. Otherwise, nah. You go for Trincao or Traore for it. Nah, you're not doing none of that. Mark Dorney, have Bamford and Raphinha in Sky. Who would you captain? We'll probably move Bamford on in a few weeks. If I had both, Mark, even if both were starting, I'd go Bamford, I think. FPL Invincible, afternoon, James. Do you think it is worth transferring Tony Shaw to Bamford Cody from -4 hit, or maybe just Tony to Pookie? I would like to have some Leeds cover this week. We got to get over this, guys, and get Leeds information into our heads. No buying. The only one is Bamford right now. We don't have the information to be looking elsewhere. They're shot defensively at the moment with injuries. It's a no. We can wait. We've got West Ham next week. It's a rough fixture next week. Let's start considering West Ham as what they are, which is at a minimum a top 8 team. It's a very difficult fixture. We can skip it. We haven't got the information. We can look at Leeds again in game week 7. We'll still have Watford, Southampton, Wolves and Norwich if we want to go and attack them. My honest answer is just keep Ivan Toney and roll. It's a good time to escape though. If you want to go Tony to Pookie, I'm okay with that. But rolling transfer is such a powerful thing if you can do it. Can Tony score at Wolves? Yes, of course he can. Edwin Grand says, Soufal to Semedo, play 5-4-1, or Brownhill to Gray, play 4-5-1. Thanks, James. Do you need Brownhill's cover this week, Edwin? I think I prefer the Soufal to Semedo move, personally, but it's worth Leeds, Brentford, West Ham's next 2 as well. Then there's a rougher run. I think if I was looking to buy in that area now, I wouldn't be considering Soufal. So, yeah, that's the move, I think, mate. FPL Finding Glory, afternoon, James. Brilliant content this week. Appreciate that. Cheers. DCL and Antonio fires in my team. Fielding 11 after 1 free transfer. Assuming Raphinha rumours are unfounded. Would you consider taking a hit to get player for bench? Sod it, mate. What are they going to do for you? Lucky clean sheet, 6-pointer, and you're 2 points up. Nah. Leave it be, mate. If you have 10, you have 10. Joe Finney Ballas says that's the conclusion I've come to as well in terms of taking a hit. So I know I'm going to use Ayling. I'm down to 11 players, basically, assuming that the Harrison rumours are correct. Anybody else misses out, I'm down to 10. And I've decided that's better than taking a hit for something. Joe Finney Ballas says, evening, James. Still undecided on transfers. Either Mahrez and Scarlett to Gray and Bamford -4. Or Mahrez, Benrahma, Shimikas to Jota, Raphinha, Semedo -8. Wildcard most likely in the 8. Cheers. Can I say I don't like either, Joe, because of, Raphinha. Can you not just go... I suppose you need to get rid of Shimikas, don't you? Can you not go Mahrez to Jota and Shimikas to Semedo and just leave Benrahma and do that as a -4? That's what I'd be doing, I think. Dragon says, think there is a chance Marty starts on Sunday, playing 3 games in a week, maybe too early for Yannick. Didn't seem 100% on Thursday. Love the COTC on Wednesday. Hope you don't regret selling Pereira. If I regret, I regret. Listen, like I said, Leicester keep a clean sheet and Arsenal lose tomorrow. I'll be just as happy. Don't worry about it. Someone asked on our Patron Slack earlier what the chances were of a Marty starting on Sunday, and I said only if Vestergaard or Siyuncu had lost a limb. I genuinely think no chance. Be astonished. With the intensity and the movement of Brighton, the way they played it, there's every chance they're going to play with split forwards and try and drag the centre-backs into wide areas. Nah, mate. Nah, if that's what you're hoping for, sorry, I'm going to let you down carefully now. rather than save you the trouble of being hopeful for the next 42 hours or so. Hamish says, Tierney is a nice pick. Are you confident he stays injury-free? Poor lad has a bit of the Darren Anderton about him. To be honest, Mikel Antonio's sitting in my team, and I know he'd get injured any day, so I'm beyond looking at that. The conclusion I came to with Tierney, you have to remember I got Jose Sarr, right? I think, honestly, if I didn't have Sarr, I would have gone Semedo over Tierney. But I didn't deem it necessary to have two defensive, personally. And I came to the conclusion with Tierney, if I had to play Kieran Tierney every week up until game week 12, would I be okay with that? And the conclusion I came to was actually yes. And then it became quite a straightforward decision from there. Lumberneto, Pascal Gross, Harrison, Calvert-Lewin to Milo Rashica, James Ward-Prowse and Joel Linton. Your thoughts on Ward-Prowse playing more attacking now? Joel Linton, I wouldn't even be convinced starts tonight, and that's never going to be a fantasy. I think Joel Linton would be 5 million, and I'm not sure I could buy him, mate. That's a no. I think, as I explained on the team news stream I did for advanced tier patrons a couple of hours ago, I think Almiron might play up front tonight. And it's just, and I'm not recommending Almiron, just as a one-off, purely because you can't carry passengers against Leeds, even without the players they've got. You need people who run their nuts off. And Miguel Almiron is one of them. I think they'll want to bring Hayden back into midfield to give them a little bit more energy in that area as well. So I wouldn't even be convinced that Joel Linton starts. Milo Rashica got a shout out on the People's Poll podcast earlier. 4th most crosses in the Premier League so far this season. Shame only 5 of them been successful out of 29. James Ward-Prowse is not a buy for now, is it? But solid, consistent. Once he's in, you leave him there all season. But I think there's got to be better options than what you're looking to buy there, mate. There really, really has got to be. Let's see. We've got Calvert-Lewin to Jimenez. Harrison can go to Gray or Gallagher or Decore. Pascal Gross to similar. And leave yourself money in the bank. They're all better moves. Ayub Salah says, if you were on Wildcard, would you go TAA, Cancelo, Rudiger, Semedo and Livramento? If I was on Wildcard, there's every chance I'd go with 5 big defenders. The only reason I don't like that is because of who the 3 bench players would be. You'd have to have 2 4.5 mids and a 4.5 forward. That's the only reason I don't think I'd go that way. If I was on Wildcard, I think I would be Trent, obviously. I'd go Cancelo. I'd go Rudiger. I think I'd have Shaw with it in mind to move to a second Chelsea defensive player in game week 7. And the final call would be Livramento if I was struggling for money, or I still think Luke Ayling is very reasonable at 4.5 as just a regular 12th man every week, because Leeds are capable of going to the best in this league and on a good day keeping clean sheets, whereas I'm not convinced that's the case with Southampton if I actually needed Livramento. And also he's offensive enough, Livramento, that when they've got good home fixtures like Wolves, Burnley coming up, do you even want to bench him? So I think I'd be very close to what I've got now. The one I wanted, to be honest, I wanted to go Cancelo, which I wouldn't have ended up doing because of the other issues like the Antonio suspension and obviously Harrison's illness. Cancelo's the transfer I wanted to make, which I could afford. The problem was it absolutely killed me for getting Lukaku in 7, so I had to look at going the other way off of Pereira, which is why I've done that. It might be that it's a case that I look at, as I said, short to a Chelsea player in 7, or if I've got other issues and I just decide to go with Rudiger and Lukaku at that stage, it might be that I look at going short to Cancelo in 8, which actually possibly even works a little bit nicer because United are at home to Everton in 7, which isn't terrible. Atul says, hey James, best 4.0 keeper and best 4.5 mid on Wildcard. I recommended James McArthur as an outsider last week, but I think there's enough pressure on him to be in the team with Luka Milivojevic is available. Obviously, Will Hughes has been brought in from Watford as well, so I think that's a little dangerous. Honestly, I don't think Mr. Sissoko is that bad at all. Billy Gilmore at Norwich is okay. The reality, Atul on the 4.5 keepers, it doesn't matter, mate. Just pick one. Pick one that regularly starts. I think Sissoko falls into that line. So does Gilmore. MacArthur's a bit more of a risk. Like Jakob Moda could be good. It's too much for a risk. It's not worth it when you might need those 2 points or so once every 6 game weeks, 8 game weeks, 10 game weeks. 4.0 keeper on Wildcard. It's probably Foster's the most likely to get in the team. But I realise he's also probably nearing on maybe losing the price fall. But you have to remember is if he's the first that goes to 3.9, everybody that wildcards after that then buys Foster and he'll go back up to 4 million. Matt Stewart, hi James. Sky question. No captain for Monday 26th for Webster out. Can bring in Gallagher in, but means Salah out for Kane instead of Ronaldo and no clear route back. Would you do it? Thanks. But it means Salah out for Kane instead of Ronaldo, no clear route back. Well, I don't understand why that makes a difference. Ronaldo's not more expensive than Salah. I don't understand that, mate. Am I missing something there? Just sure in Sky Fantasy, I'm sure they're like the same price. I'm sure they are. So I don't get why that's different, Matt. Sorry. Andre Traore, what is the points difference between you and Suj? What are Suj's transfers? Suj is rolling this week. Lucky bastard. That's his intention. Points difference between us is maybe 20 points or so, maybe. It's not maybe 16. It's not a lot. I mean, I guess it's 4 points a week at the moment, right? But I mean, you can make that back up in 1 week. He might make it back on me this week. He's got Ronaldo, right? I haven't, so he could make it back up on me very quickly. Christopher Guinness, afternoon, James. How do you see Spurs backline setting up for the weekend? I'm going back 5. Emerson Royal, Sanchez, Dyer, Romero, Reguilon, all to play. Back 5, 5-3-2. And if you want me to do that in more detail, bollocks, I've already done it twice today on Patron. As to Copa, hey James, would you go Gundogan and Semedo or Jota and Williams -4? Thanks and good luck. I go Jota and Williams, personally. Zaris says, I will sell Obafemi for Ronaldo, and I want a 6 million midfielder and below instead of Bruno. Any preferences? My thoughts are to take Saar, but you are more experienced than me. Greetings from Greece. I might be more experienced, mate. I'm not necessarily better than you. I'm not keen on Ismaila Sarr because I think it's 2 game weeks, and if it goes wrong, you will be thumping that out so quickly. You could argue it's free with the Leeds game. No, I would rather, one of the things we discussed on the podcast today where we looked at 5.4 to 5.9 midfielders, which obviously didn't mention Sarr because he's above that, but I think it still applies at 6 million. You want a solid pick. You don't, if you want to be jumping around these premiums, you want a solid pick, someone who's going to go in there that you can just forget about. And that's why I think Gallagher, although it's obviously shit timing with the Liverpool away fixture, I think that's the right transfer. And if you're doing it to part facilitate Ronaldo in any case, then crack on. Just look at it as a longer term move. Christian prefers says Calvert-Lewin and Antonio to Richarlison and Chris Wood. Don't love that. I see the thinking. I mentioned Burnley's home fixtures. Their next 4 at home are Arsenal, Norwich, Brentford, Crystal Palace on that podcast earlier, but I'm not keen on that. I'm definitely not keen on Richarlison at all, to be honest. Not keen on that at all. I'd be looking to sell Calvert-Lewin. I think if you said to me, right, James, you got to do one from those, I would go Calvert-Lewin and Chris Wood and leave it there. Fish says, legend, James, what are your thoughts on Saka for the medium term? I don't mind. I'm not convinced that the fantasy returns are there. Brilliant footballer, we all know that. I'm just not convinced the fantasy returns are there. That's all. And he has to step up and cater for the fact that Aubameyang is obviously hitting at reduced numbers now. I'm just not convinced, personally. It's not in my thoughts at the moment at all. Tahar Sufi, I can remove only one of Christensen, Tony and Ben Rama, so I'm not blocked off triple Chelsea in 7. Which 2 of these will you keep till game week 8? I think the priority is to remove Tony, and then you can reassess the Christensen situation when you get there. You might be lucky someone gets injured, then he's a regular in the team. If not, you need to make sure you're leaving some money aside and then go Christensen to James. Really go whatever you want to do with it. J23, hey James, with Laporte red flag now till 3rd of October. I wouldn't read too much into the flagged 3rd of October gig, to be honest. That's what official FPL have put up of they. I don't believe we have the information to say how long he's flagged for. Apologies, guys, if you're having issues with the stream at the moment. I don't believe there are any issues, but it's showing some on my end. Apologies if you are experiencing some breakup in the picture. Anyway, if Laporte's red flag to 3rd October, should I transfer in Reece James or keep him on the bench for a couple of weeks? I do have a good enough bench to rotate. I mean, it's a great time to leave, right? You're missing Southampton and then they've got Chelsea away, Liverpool away. So, I mean, I would leave him personally. I'd sell him. I'd sell Laporte. Garlic25, what would you think of Mount down to Raphinha? No, we're not buying Raphinha. We're not buying Raphinha this week. It's too risky. Don't bother. I'm not saying that he won't play and he won't go off tonight, but I'm telling you there's a possibility that he won't play. And it's just enough reason not to buy him. Many of you got burnt last week with Calvert-Lewin, right? And we didn't have the information. This week we've got some information come to us to say, look, there's a possible problem. Please don't buy Raphinha this week. When I heard Harrison was out, the first thing I thought is I'm getting Raphinha for a -4. He's not worth the risk. It wouldn't be worth the risk if it was for free. 333 Marson. Hi James, if you had to own one defender for the rest of the season, 5.5 million or less, who would it be? Good question. Like it. I'm going to say Rudiger, which is a bit dull, I know. But that's what I'm going to say. Failing that, it would be like a Livramento or Brandon Williams, something like that. Rudiger's going to play 9 out of 10 games. I know he'll get benched at some point. They all do. But he's going to play nearly every game. He's solid as. It's a very reasonable price for probably the best defence in the league at the moment. Craig Davis. Transfer White for Semedo. You mean you want to get Semedo in for White? I won't bother, just keep Ben White. If it's the other way round, I don't know why you do that. Shifo says, hi boss, thoughts on Benrahma and Gross to Raphinha and Gray for a hit. Stop it. Guys, honestly, every single one of you that's got a question on Raphinha, just remove it. Remove it now. I'm just going to jump them. Hamish Holmes, any chance Robbo gets a rest? Asking for a Greek friend. You're asking for Konstantinos Tsimikas. It's not impossible. I think it's unlikely. Remember, it's Carabao Cup coming up this week, and we know Klopp doesn't give a two hoots about it. So he'll rotate extremely heavily at Norwich in the Carabao Cup in midweek. Why? Robertson's fit to play. There's no issue there. Sorry. Rob Pick, will you do anything in Sky tonight if the Raphinha rumours are true? Possibly, Rob, but I've not had time to assess it as yet, and I don't want to overthink it. My thought in my mind is possibly Cooper as an option, Rob, but I need to assess. You know, I'll let you patrons know what I'm doing if I do anything. Virgil Todoros says, hey James, would you take a hit to transfer out Calvert-Lewin and Bruno and bring in Ronaldo or Lukaku and Traore? Because you're taking out DCL, I'm going to say, yeah, probably. Depending on the rest of your makeup, I would rather go Ronaldo first and then to Lukaku in 7, but you're booking in another transfer. Not keen on Traore, but if you are, fine. Nick says, hello, James. Good luck this week. Do you reckon Tony to Jimenez is a decent move or should I hold? Thank you. I'd make the move, mate. There's always a danger when you move from one player in one team who's playing a player who's playing for the other team. But it doesn't mean that Brentford can't win 1-0 and Tony scores, right? But yeah, I think that's a very reasonable move, mate. It will certainly pay off over the next 5-6 game weeks or so. Pretty sure of that. Brendan01, hi James, would you keep Ben White on a wild card? Decent fixtures ahead. Cheers. Possibly. I mean, I considered that as a move myself. Did I want to come down there? I just felt that 0.6 difference Tierney was worth paying more for. And it worked into the structure. Considering originally I was going to go someone like Cancelo, I didn't need to come down that far. I think it's reasonable to keep Ben White. I think it's reasonable. I'd consider Kieran Tierney. Javier Alcantara. Hi, Arsh James. Q Music. Man shall buy. I like you, Javier. Chris Ewers. Ayling likely to play centre-back. That's why White and Williams better options to start. Absolutely spot on, Chris. You've nailed the thought process there, mate. Luke Ayling's not getting any attacking returns tonight, mate. I don't expect anything from him. 1 or 2 pointer. There's no point in him. Yeah, I would pick Brandon Williams and whoever else you mentioned. Ben White. Ben White, greater possibility of a clean sheet, in my opinion. I'd play them ahead. Alejandro says, hey James, I'm on wildcard. Should I go with Jimenez over Pukki and go with TA, Tierney and Semedo at the back? That back three is absolutely reasonable. Yes, I would go Jimenez over Pukki. Alistair Coper, what do you reckon will be the Spurs team on Sunday? Really hope the South Americans can play. I told you the back 5, midfield 3 of Højbjerg, Skip, Dele Alli, up front, Son and Kane. I think if Son's at like 60% fit, he'll play. Well, I've just got my fingers crossed and hoping. I don't know what Nuno's going to do. None of us do, Alistair. No idea. Depends who's fit, right? I do think the South Americans will play. Joey TCB says, I love these graphics. They're very professional. Yes. What you want to do is give my man FPL Captain. You see him above the singular live graphic. That's his Twitter handle. Go and give him a follow on Twitter. Chris, FPL Captain, does a lot of the graphics for a lot of the YouTubers in the FPL community. He's an amazing, one of the nicest people in this community. If you do one thing today, give this stream a like. I'm only joking. If you do 2 things today, give this stream a subscribe as well, or the channel a subscribe. And the third thing is give Chris a follow at FPL Captain with a K. Albus89 says, hi James, would you bench White or Veltman? Also, would you go for Sarr or Gray as Benrahma replacement? Well, considering I'd pick White over Duffy, I think that makes it straightforward, doesn't it? It'd definitely be White over Veltman. Would I go for Sarr or Gray as Benrahma? I would go Gray. No. He's in form, isn't he? I know the statistics say that it won't last, but you've got Norwich at home next week as well and then reassess. I'd prefer that, I think. Honestly. Elron Cupboard, I want to save a free transfer, but I'm tempted to do Antonio to Bamford. Jimenez and Torres from -4. Would have to play Gilmore and Basuma if I save. At both of them? Jesus Christ. Hang on, why are we selling Bamford? Did you mean DCL? I'm really confused. I'm not sure who you're trying to sell. So you're buying Torres, it must be a midfielder. Who is it? Bamf. That's Bamford as far as I'm concerned, but it can't be. But Gilmore and Basuma, that's a nightmare. You don't want either of them ever starting for you, really. Gilmore I can get this week. You never know, you might get a 3-pointer out of it. Brendan Madrano, Harrison to Gallagher, or Gray to Corey would start them this week. I think in that area, you go with the player with the best long term, and I think it's Gallagher. Ian McAllister thinking of bringing in Pepe for Harrison. Arsenal have a good run of games. Surely he can come good. Don't think he'll even start, Ian. I think Saka will come back in for him this week. Not Saka, sorry, Smith-Rowe, who didn't start last week. I think Smith-Rowe goes on the left, Saka goes back to the right. Navishka says, hi James, is doing Barnes and Tony to Bamford and Sarr a good move? Barnes and Tony to Bamford and Sarr are a good move. Might be coming good now, Harvey Barnes. Yeah, it's reasonable, to be fair. Yeah, it's a reasonable move. I'm the dude. Should I get Gray in for Benrahma from -4? I have Basuma, Salah, Mount, Raphinha, or get Gray in on a free transfer next week. Listen, can Benrahma return against Manchester United? Yes. Is Damari Gray going to go mental at Aston Villa? No. The answer's no. Don't be buying people like Gray on a -4 unless it's to facilitate buying another premium. Just don't bother. Callum Odumdeli says, why didn't you change Harrison knowing that he has illness and out? Are you scared of doing -4? Well, the simple reason for that is at the moment that if I moved him, I'm potentially restricting myself for game week 7 in terms of my Lukaku plan. And it's not to say Harrison's leaving, but the plan is I'm going to hold Harrison. There was a chance, having bought Tierney, that was possibly going to bench Harrison in game week 6 anyway. So I'm not bothered. He can sit there. And I'm ready then for 7 to 10. And rather than having to buy a Leeds player then, I can go and buy someone else. And obviously if he's out, I'll get Raphinha in for him. But I'm not buying Raphinha now because of the potential risk. So I don't think it's worth it. Unless someone, and I mean one of my patrons, like DM me, and I mean a patron. I'm only going to look at my DMs if it's from a patron. Cheers, Rob. So Raphinha's starting apparently. That's from a source that I really trust. Okay. I'm going to consider... You guys will know, since I've done these deadline streams, I've never made a transfer mid-stream before. Except for when I played my free hit and it was game week 38. And the deadline was still an hour before. And we was waiting for info. What I need to check is where it leads me for my future moves if I get Raphinha in. That's what I need to check. I can't leave myself short for what I want to do because the money's tight for me. 1.8. Yeah, it's doable. I'm going to spend 5 minutes thinking about that. But the word I've just had from someone I trust is that Raphinha will start. Don't take it as gospel. It's just the information that I've had passed to me. It sounds like Raphinha is available and will start. Sheila J. Raj, Christensen and Sarr or Shaw and Decory on a wild card. Christensen and Sarr or Shaw and Decory on a wild card. I can't advise Christensen, Sheila. Zara says, do you think Dyer will play next game week? Any change you are considering. Hope to see you one day here in Greece. It will be a pleasure. We have to eat souvlaki and drink beer and talking about FPL. I like a souvlaki, mate. That really makes me want to do that. Dyer apparently had a dead leg, and there's no concrete information to say yes he is playing or no he isn't playing. So I think he'll play. If Eric Dyer can get on the pitch, he'll play. But I also think unless all three are fit and he goes to a back five, Nuno, which I think he could do, honestly, then there's a possibility that Dyer will make it. I think if Dyer and Sanchez are fit and he stays with a back four, that's who we'll pick, rather than putting Romero straight in against Lukaku. But Romero doesn't mind the physical, honestly. He doesn't mind it at all. Sorry, I'm half concentrating because I'm kind of trying to decide in my mind if I'm going to make this Raphinha move or not. Just double checking what I'm doing. FPL telling Josh, afternoon James, all the best with the game week, mate. How nervous are you for the Chelsea game? I'm not nervous, mate. I'm fully prepared to know that we could get beat, right? It is what it is. I think there's a chance we go back five and we'll frustrate, and I think there's a possibility that some plays. And I think the Tottenham team might be stronger than what people think. It will be a hell of an atmosphere. The players can know that the team, the supporters will be in full support of them because they'll understand the challenge at the weekend. And we'll give them a proper game as long as we can get half a team on the pitch. If it's like Rodon and Davis at centre-back, they'll beat us 3 or 4-0. I'm nervous about it. What's the worst thing that'll happen is they'll beat us and we move on. Next week, game week 6, I shit myself, mate. And that's because of the emotional pull of that fixture. Chelsea is not my rival. Matthew says, James, what would it take for you to move on to De Bruyne this season? Look brilliant against Leipzig. It would take Kevin De Bruyne to become a regular captaincy option. Simple as that. And at the moment, that's just not viable. It's just not. I mean, the two good fixtures he's got, Burnley at home in 8, Crystal Palace at home in 10, are the only ones between now and 15 you could go, I could make a case for them. Obviously, that's in the middle of Lukaku's run. And it's worth saying Lukaku's away on both of those days. Brentford away and Newcastle away. But at the same time, Salah's got Watford away and Brighton at home in those two fixtures. So I'd have to sell Salah to accommodate De Bruyne. So, as much as I love KDB, I can't be doing it. Right, Raphinha's in. -4 taken. Done. It won't appear on the screen because FPL captain's unavailable, but I can say that Raphinha is in my team. I brought him in. I put him in the chat. It's done. I brought him in for a -4. FPL telling Josh, afternoon James, all the best with the game week, mate. How nervous are you for the Chelsea game? I've just done that, sorry. Downstairs, afternoon, mate. Should I start Veltman or Ayling? Apart from that, I'm pretty happy this week. Wishing you a green arrow. Well, I've got Duffy above Ayling, and Duffy's got a little bit more goal scoring threat. Actually, a lot more. Just Veltman, I think. Just Veltman. Hans Peter Forsenson. Hello, James. What you wishing? Hello, James. What you think? Pepe in and Siggy. Siggy. That better not be who I think you're talking about. What's SGY? I better tweet out because people go mad that I've tweeted the team out and said it was locked. Oh, you lied to us, James. I just don't need all that shit in my life, really. People being silly. I mean, listen, if people want to copy my fucking team, they're idiots, aren't they? Such is life, right? Alfredo, any last minute news on Raphinha injury, bro? Please tell us what info you got. I have. Biffin says, hi James, do you think Werner will get a chance to play beside Lukaku on the left? Would love to know your thoughts. Thanks and good luck in the game week. I mean, could do at some point, but I don't really see it. To be honest, I'd see him probably leaving Chelsea next summer. He's just so erratic in front of goal, unfortunately, isn't he? It is what it is. Ralph 3. Oh, I've skipped a few there, haven't I? Sheree MC, try not to laugh. Play Williams or Kovacic. Williams. Adam K, and I didn't. Benching dilemma. Pereira away at Brighton or Smith Rowe away at Burnley. I would play Pereira and keep my fingers crossed. Owen Boyd, afternoon. I have Sanchez and Veltman. Is transferring Veltman to Marcel or Semedo a good plan? If so, who would you prefer? I would prefer Semedo, personally, if it's affordable. Just consider your future transfers. But yeah, that's the way I'd go. Sheely's too many names there. I'm really sorry. I can't bother to read that, mate. Ralph 3. Hi, James. Would you sell 7.6 million Greenwood and Zakiri to buy Bamford and Gallagher from -4? Well, have you got any forwards? No. I guess I wouldn't because I could, right? So, no is the answer. Lewis James, afternoon, James. Raya or Sanchez this week? My friend's on the benching dilemma. My friend, they're both on there. Carlos says, hi, James. Here, the Colombian again with the random questions. Oh, shit. So random that I've lost it. What's the most ridiculous fact you know? That Demba Ba eats syrup every day. Eric 4, I saw that on Twitter yesterday. Eric 490, who would you bring in for Laporte, Diaz, Cancelo, Rudiger, Matip? Well, I'm selling all them players, am I? Or Wolves defender? I have Wolves keeper and don't have Trent. Can't bring him in. Would need a -8. Not worth it. Take a -12 to get Trent in, mate. Get it done. He'll get at least 12 points this week anyway, mate. Hans-Peter Forsenson, joking, I can't guarantee that. Hans-Peter Forsenson, hello James, St. Maximin and Pepe and a wildcard team. What's the Pepe love all about? Don't see that. Adrian Funnel, hi James, just something unclear to me. In the benching dilemmas, the player with a tick should be benched or played. The player with a tick should be played. They go in order. So, Trincao... why do they appear to be the old graphics? They are. What's all that about? I should take them off the screen, really. Are you okay? You want to know what to do with your team or some shit?
Ings or Richarlison?
What, to buy?
Yeah.
Neither.
Right. I need one of them.
Bamford.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Apologies if you lost the stream there, guys. Don't worry, it's only my wife. I'm not sure why that's happened with the... I'm going to see if that fixes that with the benching dilemmas. I can't believe it's so long for someone to say, hey, James, that looks a bit weird. Has that fixed it? I can't see on my screen. No, that's still old. That's not good. Apologies, guys. Right, I'm going to pull that off. I'll repeat all the benching dilemmas for you that I did at the start. So I'd go Armstrong over Gray, Gray over Semedo, Semedo over Benrahma, Benrahma over Ward-Prowse, Ward-Prowse over Gallagher, Gallagher over Dennis, Dennis over Williams, Williams over Soufal, Soufal over White, White over Dallas, Dallas over Duffy, Duffy over Ailing, Ailing over Region, Region over Troost-de-Kong, Troost-de-Kong over Manquillo, Manquillo over Livramento, Martinez over Sanchez, Sanchez over Meslier, Meslier over Backman, Backman over Raya. I have no idea why that appears to have suddenly pulled up old data on the benching dilemmas. I can only apologise, guys. Right, where were we on the questions? I don't know, to be very honest. And I appear to have lost a load for some reason. Sorry, guys. I can only apologise. If I missed your question, I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to the top of what I see because I lost connection there briefly as well. John Simpson says, hi, James. Big bench dilemma. 2 from Smith Rowe, Benrahma. You can ask any benching dilemmas. I'll ask them all. I'll answer them all now. Hi, James. Big bench dilemma. 2 from Smith Rowe, Benrahma, Aileen, Manquillo, Brandon Williams. I would definitely play Benrahma and have no doubts about that. I would probably still play Smith Rowe, I think, over Brandon Williams would be next in line. Randeep says, should I switch Harrison to Gray for a -4? Don't hate that. Josh Sensu, start White or Sissoko. White. Driss says, hey, what do you think about getting Jimenez to Tony for a hit? Not keen for a hit because Jimenez tends to score in ones. Liam Evans, Football Intelligent Unit, has said Raphinha's playing. You know much about this source. Yeah, it's another very reliable source, to be honest. So yeah, that's good enough. that's good enough nearly to confirm that Raphinha will start, I would say. FM38, hey James, Benrahma to Raphinha for a -4. No. No, I don't think so. For free, yeah, not for a hit, I don't think. Clive Diaz, Gray or Sarr? It's Gray for me. Alan Holohan, same football intelligent unit, very reliable. Clive Diaz, one question at a time, please, mate. Tiny King, hey James, hope you're good. Would you play Ayling or Benrahma this week? Thanks. Benrahma. T Robinson, one of my newest patrons, I believe. Hope you're well, mate. Evening, James. What do you make of the Fernandes to Mane move this week? Plan to wildcard in 7, so it's a short-term punt. Best of luck to you, mate. I really like that. If you're wildcard in 7, I talked about this last week. Torrin Brady says start Williams or Allen. Antonio on bench. That's Brandon Williams. Josh says White or Sissoko. That's twice I've seen that question. White. Alexander says on a wildcard. However, I have 0.1 issue and a remaining budget of 9 million. White, Marcel or Tomiyasu Ayling. Tomiyasu Ayling. Ideally, I would have wanted Tomiyasu Marcel. Thoughts? White, Marcel. To be honest, I think that's very straightforward. Pharrell says, Oi, James, what do you think about an Alonso punt for Chelsea's good run? Currently playing every week for them. Will Chilwell come back in? Thoughts? Good luck for this game week. Well, the answer, my friend, is we don't know, do we? It's a reality. You'll know as much as I do. I'm going to say no. But if it appears good, I think for me to buy Alonso, I'd need Chilwell injured. The good fixtures come at a time when the Champions League's back on as well. Obviously, it's already up and running and starting. How much longer before Chilwell gets a start? I wouldn't even be that surprised if Chilwell starts on Sunday, to tell you the truth. Pravish says Ramsdale away to Burnley or Sanchez home to Leicester. I will edge for Ramsdale because probably a little bit more chance of some save points to go with, but not a lot between the two. Marcus Wyatt, all right, James, bench Rudiger or Ayling. Play Rudiger, mate. Don't shit yourself about Tottenham. Alan Holohan, start Brownhill or Ayling. John Emil Stein, thank you for that. Renegade Pasta. Have Edouard and Gallagher on bench. Would you start over Dean Williams with difficult fixtures? Dean Williams are fine this week. Fine. I would play Gallagher over Williams, personally, because he's on the set pieces. If I knew Edouard would play, I'd play him as well, because many will know my thoughts on forwards in terms of always playing them. But I'm not convinced it will start. Gallagher I'd pick over Williams. Dean you don't leave out. You've paid that much for the player. It's Villa away. Don't shit yourself. Marco Leary, thank you. Santos says, hi James, hope you're doing well. Going with Lukaku captain. Wish me luck, mate. Good luck. Hope you get a 1 pointer or a -2. I'm just saying that from a Tottenham perspective. Ross Swarbrick, I'm bringing Vardy in. Here we go. You Romano. Alan Daddy getting Raphinha in now. Amid Darid, people really rate Leeds, but I haven't seen anything from them yet. Yasin Ali, hi James, thanks for your content. How was your Champions League fantasy? Semedo captain, what do you think? Semedo captain, that's a blinder. Not brilliant Champions League. I don't even know what the average was. I think I got about 65, I think. Sheraya says Trent captain. Yeah, if you're feeling fruity, mate. Risk K15. Do I start Williams versus Watford? Yeah, start Williams. Josh Shah. Bissouma to Ferran for a hit. Would love to a -8 since I've already taken a -4. Don't worry about what you've already done. Is that worth a hit? Yes if he starts. No if he doesn't. But I'm going to say yes. Amidrad, hell do it. Go with the guy referring to Raphinha. Douglas Stevens, De Bruno and Antonio to Jota and Lukaku for a -4. Keeping Antonio means playing Livramento. I'm okay with that. And there's not many that I've seen with Antonio going that I've been okay with. But you should get immediate returns out of that, I think. I'm going to say yes. You just need to be conscious in your mind of what do you want to do next week. Because you're not going back to Antonio in the immediate. So are you okay with that? Are you okay to be without Antonio's massive ownership for the next 2 game weeks? Because ownership is still going to be massive. That's all. Otherwise, I'll tell you what, Douglas, that's not a bad shout for a -4. I think it's okay. Ski Vision, using Wildcard, and he recommends. Yep. 15 players, 5 defenders, 2 goalkeepers, 5 midfielders, 3 forwards. here's a tip for you: 4-4-2 formation. Joe Finney had a live transfer from James Lind. I just genuinely, it's the first time I've ever done that. I'm fairly certain, but I think that was worth it because honestly, that was my initial. I said it so many times. I would have done it, no brainer. So to then get the information, Bluma Kadira. So Raphinha is starting right. You transferred him in. He's in. Thanks for your team, Bjorn. Matt Foss, Jimenez and Sarr, or Pookie and Greenwood. I think at this stage I'd go Jimenez and Sarr. Ryan says, lol, big dub. Yeah, I got the dub. Yassin Ali, I don't know, is that what the kids do? I don't know. Yassin Ali, do you think Brighton and West Ham could win? Yeah, of course they can. Don't think they will. I think West Ham get a draw Sunday. Matt Foss, don't let me see the question more than once, my friend. Gollum says, Jimenez, any thoughts, please? Yeah, decent forward. Needs the first one, then they'll probably fly in. Never a captaincy option. Even if I think they're playing League One team at home, I wouldn't captain Jimenez. Jahangir says, so who have you taken out for Raphinha? Straight swap with Harrison? Yeah, Harrison's gone, mate. Chris Downey, will Shimikas start? Can't see that. I explained that to someone who asked a question earlier. Paranoid now because I never make a transfer this late. Which has been really good thing part of the deadline stream actually, that I go, well, no, my team's locked in and that's the end of it. That's a rare bit of news that I wasn't expecting. So, I mean, the team looks so much stronger for it now putting Raphinha in there, doesn't it? Obviously, I want him to return tonight, but if Harrison's going to be out 2 weeks, and it leaves me stronger if I pick up an injury. So, I mean, currently I'd be benching Tierney probably in game week 6 against Tottenham. It's a certain clean sheet, isn't it? Frank, FF Stuff, just got home, time to relax with James. Good luck, mate. If you've never seen Frank's website, ffstuff.co.uk, it is probably the best data resource around. And it's free. Get on it. ffstuff.co.uk. And he's top lad, Frank. Brilliant bloke. Arnold says, want to save my wildcards. I'm doing a -8 to bring Lukaku and Ronaldo. What's your take on that? My take on that is no. Go one or the other. Frank Dunno says, hey James, love the pod. How long would you give Jimenez considering no goals, great fixtures? Jimenez, I would give all the way up to 14. Just forget about him. Franco Dunno, hey James, love the just did that. Marfosse, it was a pleasure, but you were warned. Lexus Steeleman, Barnes out for Raphinha -4, was going to do it next week. No, that's different to me not having a player. And my effective -4 is Raphinha over Ayling. And I don't think Leeds keep a clean sheet with what they've got defensively. So that's the effective transfer, is Raphinha in for Ayling. You're doing it in for Harvey Barnes. I'm going to say no. Renegade Pasta, hi James. Attacking assets over defence, even if Liverpool at home against Palace. You asked me about Edouard. I mean, Gallagher, because of the set pieces, I just think you play. He's on the bench in dilemma. Edouard, I don't think will start. But if I knew he would, yeah, play him. Play him. Play him. Honestly, just fucking play him. But I'm not convinced that he would. If you've already bought Edouard, I don't get that. Honestly, I really don't. Even if he was on Wildcard. You've got horrendous fixtures, really. Can't see it. Nikhil says, will Amati start? No, done that one. Yassi Ali's replying to someone else. Yang here said Greenwood or Raphinha. To buy, it's got to be Raphinha. Some of us have got both. Prabesh says Ben Rama or Cody. Which should I start? Ben Rama. Nimit S. Duffy versus Cresswell as third defender. What to play this week? I'd go Cresswell. Again, set pieces. Sharul says, how about Ferran Torres? What about him? Callum Robertson, who would you bench out of Shaw, Marcel, Rudiger or Gray? Marcel. Devan Kumar, hi James, on Wildcard. Would you do White to Duffy to have extra money in the bank? No. No, I wouldn't. I'd prefer both Livramento and Brandon Williams to Duffy, if you're worried about that, which I think I would be. Not this week, but in the coming weeks. Devon, that's what I've just done. Andy says Fernandes and Ings to Ronaldo, Lukaku. Plus Jota, did you mean or? Jota or Fernandes? Oh, hang on. Fernandes and Ings to one of the premium forwards and Jota. Or Fernandes and Tony to Varney and Jota. Pretty much meant to be Vardy. The first one. The question bored me a bit, sorry. Pressure, Ailing or Basuma on the bench? Bench Basuma. Udi, haha, James, Traore or Sarr? Oh, God, I'd have to buy Traore. Yasmin Ali, do you think double Wolves defence is okay long term? Semedo and Saiss, no Chelsea defence. Not sure how secure Saiss is. That's not who I would be buying. Roman Saiss, wouldn't go near him. Stephen Ingram, neither Bamford. Now that's true love, mate. I don't know what you're talking about. Ricky Donos, so Ayling or Veltman? Ayling or Veltman. I got asked that. I said Veltman, didn't I? Callum Robertson, who would you bench out of Shaw? No, I've had that once already, mate. Callum, don't let me see the question again, mate. Once enough. I'll either get to you or I won't. Garlic25, what would you think of Mount down to... About 2 minutes to deadline, by the way, guys. Garlic25, what would you think of Mount down to Raphinha so I can get double Chelsea defence 7? Start worry about Mount playing 90. Yeah, fine, do it. It's fine. Devon Kumar, hi James on Wildcard. Would you do White to Duffy? No. Stop with the repeat questions, guys. It's annoying. Will Atkinson, any word where you take a hit to go from Soufal or Reguilon to Semedo because of fixture? No. Jang here, should I? No. Greenwood to Raphinha, free transfer. Don't hate it if it's free. LNNG, hi James, hold Antonio, bringing Bamford. I'm holding Gareth Payton. I love this stream. Honest, raw, interactive, straight to the point. It's like having James around the house to chat FPL. Brilliant. Honestly, I'd be much more polite if I was in your house, Gareth. FPL Canava, funny question. What is the weirdest thing you've seen in someone else's home? Me. Schmeichel or Sanchez in goal for this week? It's not on the benching dilemmas because I took it off the screen. Sorry about that, guys. Schmeichel or Sanchez? Well, I'm back in Leicester for clean sheet, so I'm going to go Schmeichel. Alan Holohan, Ings to Bamford or Barnes Raphinha? I'm going to say... Ings Raphinha. No, that doesn't work. Ings to Bamford. Sorry. Ings to Bamford. Because you'll definitely want to get rid of Ings come next week, really. So, yeah, go that one. Barnes, good fixture next week. So, Ings to Bamford. Liam Evans, are Villa going to upset everyone? Sorry, I just got to hide some people. Are Villa going to upset everyone with Everton assets this week? Probably. Tiger Allah, watching from Hawaii, just swapped in De Bruyne for Bruno for a cheeky punt. Do you think he will stay fit? Yes. Chris Gibbon, keep up the great content. One question is Shimikas to Brandon Williams, the most boring transfer of all time. Happy with the rest of my squad. Mate, I moved Cucho to Zakiri in game week 3. At least you could start Brandon Williams. Denny Kaka, who do I play between Amati and Shimikas? Doesn't matter, neither will play. Java says start Ben Rama or Dean. That one I think I go look at Dean. Chris Jaga, Arsenal Wolves mix and save money on City Chelsea mix. Elaborate for me, please, my friend. What does it mean? You don't want too much of Chelsea and City? I mean, I've got no City. Nimit S. Duffy versus Cresswell for third defender. We're going Cresswell. Renegade Pasta, bench dilemma. Edouard Gallagher over Dean Williams. I feel like I've already done this one. Josh Grimmer, who do I bench out of Traore, Raphinha or Torres? Traore. Callum Robertson, Rudiger or Marcal. Rudiger. Brad Lewington, good evening, pal. Hope you're well, buddy. You have a good weekend. Jack Toner, my Burnley correspondent. Torres Grealish or Mahrez as a 2-week punt before moving to a Chelsea mid. I'm on wild card. My friend, just get the Chelsea player. Torres. Torres is the one, mate. But I'm going to guess you've already done it because I make it deadline gone. And if you've already done it, I'm certain you bought Torres. Let me know, Jack. I'm certain you bought Torres. That's what you've done. You've gone with Torres. Right, sorry to those who didn't get through questions. As Joe Finley Badders saying, deadline. If anybody's got any non-FPL questions, happy to answer them over the next 15 minutes. If you came just for the FPL, I'll see you next week. Content next week, Monday, will be Planet FPL Podcast. I believe it's Season 5, Episode 10. Reviewing all the Game Week 5 action. Tuesday's People's Poll Podcast will not be an FPL podcast. If you want to disappear on Tuesday, feel free. I've got a few ideas of a few things I'd like to put out to the Twitterverse and see what they come up with. Wednesday will be Sky Fantasy Football Podcast. Thursday, Clash of the Correspondents, Everton versus Norwich with Spirit Blues and FPL Badger. Next Friday will be Ask James. Now, normally I've been doing them at 3 o'clock. I might have an issue at that time, but I'll if it's not at that time, I'll probably do it later. So if it's, I will communicate, but it's going to be penciled in for 3 o'clock, but it might get delayed to about 5 o'clock. It's a possibility, but I'll know during the week. It won't be oh shit, last minute, I'm moving it back 2 hours. Patreon pods next week. If you want to support Planet FPL on Patreon, you can do so. If you like our content, you want to help our quest to provide more. I don't know how we do that, but anyway. Intermediate and advanced tier podcast next week. Q&A on Monday. Tuesday, I need to speak to Suj. But if anybody was listening to something that Suj mentioned on a recent podcast of something he can do, that's my idea. Wednesday will be Tottenham. Thursday will be a quiz. Friday will be our game week 6 preview. The deadline stream, of course, for everybody will be next Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And advanced tier, there's also additional videos Monday to Friday, which includes on a Monday me answering all the unanswered questions that we get on Twitter for the podcast. Tuesday, I do a Twitter story, so it's a look at a game over the weekend and how Twitter reacted to it. Wednesday, I do a news roundup. Thursday, I do video analysis on something tactically. And on Friday, we do a team news stream, which is normally at 3 o'clock, but we did it at 4 o'clock today because it was a Friday deadline, give us a bit more time. That's available at advanced tier. And obviously, if you just want to join us at basic tier, you want to buy us a packet of crisps or half a pint of beer a month, £3 a month gets you into the Planet FPL Slack channel. Any additional YouTube content that we do, which I'll be honest is not often, like if I occasionally do a watch along, which isn't really possible at the moment with my child, then that will go on YouTube. That's available to everyone, and more importantly, gets you into the Planet FPL community with the brilliant Planet FPL patrons on our Slack, who were unbelievable today in terms of keeping on top of the Jack Harrison and Raphinha story. It was about 20 different people acting as inspectors this afternoon to try and find out what was going on. Absolutely brilliant. Didn't need me to go and look because they were doing all the work for me. I'm very grateful for it. And obviously they're there to help each other, which everybody always does. Everybody's got time to help everyone. Right, let's get into non-FPL questions. Liam Evans, Chelsea, City, United, Chelsea. Who are the other 6 teams making up top half of the table at the end of the season? You got Chelsea twice. I'm going to assume you meant Liverpool, Liam. That's fine. Tottenham, West Ham, Leicester, Everton. I think on what we've seen so far. I have to be careful who I leave out here, don't I? Did I say West Ham? West Ham definite, actually. West Ham, Leicester definites. Tottenham, what's that, 7. Everton is 8. I'm going to say Wolves. And I'm only joking, Arsenal. Just wanting to wind these bastards up. Joe Jenkins says, James, any regrets on the wary transfer now you've taken the -4? Would your moves have been any different if you didn't get Tierney in Monday? I bought Tierney 2 hours ago, mate. Honestly, I bought Tierney at like half hour before I did the team news stream for our advanced tier patrons. I bought him about 3:30. So, no, I left it to get the information on Leicester last night, which I thought didn't change anything and give me all the team news information. So, would I have still gone for Tierney? Yeah, I would have still done it. I think, yeah. Because it'd just leave me in the same problem, wouldn't it? Rob Pick says, question, if you're hanging on after deadline, I know you put minimal thought into it, but where are you at with gaffer boosts, etc. on away days this week with 10 away plus Mitro? So, Rob, I'm so pleased it's a Saturday deadline this week because I missed the fucking deadline the other day. Even though, literally, recording a podcast for the patrons 2 hours before I went, we did a Champions League fantasy podcast, which we're going to do on Tuesdays when there's Champions League football. And I said, I gaffer deadline tonight as well. And I still forgot it like an idiot. So tonight, I'm properly going to spend a good hour and work out, if not more, a proper plan for gaffer, because I haven't used any of these chips yet, Rob. And I'm miles off, right? I'm like 1.5k or something. I'm miles behind. So I'm going to have a proper look at it tonight, come up with a proper plan. It could be that I'm wildcarding today, possibly. That's a possibility. That's the reason why I didn't cover it on a differential show earlier, because I ain't got a clue. I haven't had time to look at it, but I will do tonight. I will give it some proper time. TJ Powell, that's it. You made me repeat myself. No repeat questions, guys. Get me a spanner. Have you not got one, TJ? TJ, get on Slack. Give me your YouTube handle, the main shit, and I'll add you as a spanner, mate. You should be one. Neil says Alonso, great. Arlic 25. Good luck this week, James. Thanks for all you do. Thank you. Sorry for the benching dilemmas today. The pisses me off. Probably pissed me off more than it pissed you off. So I'm sorry if that's misinformation's gone out to anyone. T-Tag, I went Cap, Cancelo and Vice Trent. Currently 20k. Call me mad. You're mad. That could be genius, mate. LNNG, cheers James, good luck with this week. Realised last minute I had to switch my goalkeepers and just about made it. My heart is pounding. Renegade Pasta, good luck, thanks for your help. You're very welcome, but stop with the repeat questions, mate. Next time it's just a mute, mate. Eric490, is Cancelo in a mistake? Horrendous. Delete it, change it back. No, mate, it's a player under consideration for me. Udik Galati says all the best, thank you, and to you. Paul Sweeney, non-FPL question, who ends up top scorer this season? Cheers, mate. Harry Kane, of course. Anyone got issue with that? Good, next. T Robinson James, what is your favourite takeaway food? Oh, she's got some fucking shit tonight, honestly. I'm very simple. Almost anything with chips. Look at me, right? It's fairly obvious. I do love me a dirty kebab, but I don't drink what I used to, so it's not such a big idea. My man Zaris from Greece, the old Savlaki, wow, lovely. Chinese too salty for me these days because I talk too much because of the pod anyway. But I do like Chinese pizza. We end up with a lot. We've now you got Uber Eats, so useless. Can't decide. Get a McDonald's. Fucking terrible, mate. Fish and chippy. I'm open to all of them, mate. Callum says, how high can Wolves finish this season? The highest Wolves can finish this season is 5th. They won't, but that's to answer your question. Franco Dunno, GG everyone. It's good luck, I presume. Eric490, you didn't even answer my question. I waited a half hour, for fuck's sake. Oh, sorry about that, Eric. There's plenty of other streams. Where's your question? Is Cancelo in a mistake? Was that your question? Do you feel a bit silly now? No, will it? Good luck, everyone. All these lovely people in here. Did you send start White or Duffy? Already, deadline's gone, mate. Essence says, hey, James, why did you start following football so closely and develop such a good analytical viewpoint on how the game works? A lot of people would disagree with that opinion, but I appreciate the kind words. But I got taken every week, didn't I? From 6 years old. And sat up a tier. So I always had when I was 6 years old, I had the perspective of the game. Front row upper tier was my first season ticket in the East Stand at Tottenham when I was 6. I had no one in my way. Lean over. Blind him. In fact, to be honest, I probably stood then. I'm not much taller now. I probably imagine I probably stood. I can't remember. But yeah, that higher perspective was my first seat and viewing. And at that time in 1990, there weren't many views like that in the country. So I was always influenced early to look at the game. I'm not saying I was looking at it deep tactically when I was 6, obviously not, but that was my first perspective of football. And so that's how I liked to watch games, was have a perspective. And I think that's a really big influence. Obviously my dad took me everywhere, right? As did my mum. But my dad really, if my dad wasn't around, I don't think my mum would have taken me, right? So it took me everywhere. And you just learn and develop. My dad hasn't got an analytical brain for football tactics. None. Zero. Sorry, Dad, if you're listening. Nothing. He's got no tactical acumen at all. But it came from being taken to football at a very, very early age. Yogish says, what's your rank, James? I am, I tweeted it earlier, 208k or something. Which if you remember this time last week, I was 52. And I said that if I finished the week around about 200k, I'd be really happy with that, with no Ronaldo, no Lukaku last week and stuff. So yeah, quite pleased with that. I think this week's challenging. Look, I've just taken a hit. There are more people playing wildcards again this week. So you've got people like Antonio on the bench who people can get 1 week punts in and then go to him next week and stuff like that. So I think it'll probably be another red this week. But I expect to be not big. Hopefully I stay within the 250k or so this week. Captaincy, nearly everyone's on the same thing, right? So it's what the differentials do. And my differentials, don't have particularly great fixtures. But if someone like Tierney pops up with a 10-12 pointer or so, that's the difference maker, isn't it? But I probably expect it to be red this week, then getting ourselves in a I believe I can run through this period and have a real advantage once we get into the teen weeks. Marcus P, great work as always. Thank you. Phil McMahon, listened to the Sky Pod before. Still unsure on what to do with Webster. Already have Gallagher. So wondering who the better option is between Marcel, Duffy. Hard one. I think I'd go Marcel. And I think the influence in it is the fact that he's had them 3 games of tackle tiers. But 2 of them are obviously against team. Well, actually, it's not even true, James. You're chatting fucking nonsense. Because they had so much of the ball against Tottenham as well. So I think Marcel, personally, and just remember exactly what I advised on that podcast, Phil, is leave yourself enough money so that if you need to make an immediate escape and you want to keep Wolves, to go to Ray and 8 Nori, which I want to say is 0.2 or 0.3 more. Obviously, have a check and just factor that into your planning. I think for the rest of us, I'm going Gallagher tomorrow. That's fairly straightforward, I think, for me. Nothing's made me kind of wobble in my thinking of that. Nicola Torco, good luck everyone. Joe Philly Balla, Champions League was pretty mad this week. That Ajax striker looks like it'd be good for a team like West Ham. So again, bit of an in-joke with the Patron, because on the Patron podcast did on Tuesday, I really tipped up Sebastian Aller, which I even said when I said don't laugh, because I knew what the reaction would be to it. And then of course, obviously, he really fucking did go off as well, didn't he? Unbelievable. Prabish, no, I don't own him. Prabish says, wanted to put Ben Rama for Cody, wasn't sure. Now I'm stuck with 2 Wolves defence. Wonder if it's a good thing or not. We will see. Thanks for your amazing insight, Prabish. Static said, do you think Kane will be anywhere near the Golden Boot this year? Yeah, I've already answered that. Bossman525, have you ever been invited to compete in the Elite 64 League? Don't be silly. Listen, it could be an Elite 64,000 League. I wouldn't get an invite. As much as me and Mark, I guess we're FPL friends, if you will. I'm not good enough for that level, mate. Atul Balaji said, curious to know if you're slightly against Crystal Palace because of Vieira. No, not at all. To be honest, it not even occurred to me. Not even occurred to me. They were absolutely outstanding last week. And actually, I've been saying to a lot of people, give that a chance. Give that a chance. New players coming in. It's a similar system, but they're playing it differently to what they did last year. Give it a chance. And I think he'll do okay. Garlic25, what's your 5-a-side team from current Prem teams? 5-a-side team from current Prem teams. Is goalkeeper allowed to kick out? Because that's quite important. If so, I want Ederson in goal. But we've got to have Virgil, won't we? To be honest, if we've got Virgil at the back, we don't need another one, do we? Virgil can play, and we'll have 3 attacking players in front of that. So we'll go for Kevin De Bruyne. For me, definite. And I'd want more technical players rather than... to be honest, Jack Grealish as well. So say De Bruyne, Grealish. And... do I need another finisher? If I've got De Bruyne and Grealish, do I need another finisher? I've got Thiago in my mind. Actually. Fuck it, I'm going to say Thiago. It's 5-a-side, it's not real football. I'm going to say Thiago. FPL Penguin, good luck, mate. Salah captain from someone who's not got a name or it's in Chinese. Apologies, I barely can do English, mate. Salah captain, in my opinion, everyone does it, so it's best to go defensive. I've got Ronaldo, Lukaku, Torres and Trent as well to make up in case he blanks. Thanks for more amazing insight. Javier says, do you play Ultimate Fan? I don't know what that is. Adi Tour, hi James, with Dan Burn coming back, would that affect Duffy as a Sky replacement for Webster? It could do. It could do. It's another reason why I think I'd go Markow over Duffy. It could do. I don't think so. But it could do. And it's not worth it, is it? Really? As I said on Wednesday's podcast for Sky, if you bought Duffy, it was going to be really short-term thinking anyway, and you had to know that. Now, to be in a position where it's 10 days away, you obviously want to, if you're going to buy him, you want to buy the player on Sunday, but you need to make the decision now, really, in case it's a Palace player you buy tomorrow. 10 days away and not know if you're buying a player and if he's going to play. In Sky, you just can't afford to do that. So I think it can't be, unfortunately. Hamish says, if Matip were to get injured this weekend, heaven forbid, who are your current candidates for replacing him in Sky? Joe Gomez? It's always a man with a plan. Or Canate, probably Joe Gomez would be one option. Chelsea, second Chelsea player, is probably the more likely, in fairness. Remember, I've kind of left myself 0.9 to play with, which admittedly, once I get Gallagher in, is only going to become 0.6 to play with. But I wouldn't move far from the top guys. Plus, it may open up for me. With going Gallagher in there now, I'm not going to stay with 4 in midfield. So I can come off, if I need to, I can come off Ward-Prowse or Damari Gray and find some more money if need be. Angry P, hi James, love the streams and pods. Going to your boys' ground to watch the NFL in a few weeks. Any pubs and eateries you recommend? To be honest, if you're going to the stadium for the first time, I highly recommend, I wouldn't say eat in the stadium, but you need to have a proper look around the stadium because honestly, it's like no other football stadium on earth in terms of inside. You walk in there and if you walk into the South End, you can't believe that it's a football stadium. It's mad. So I highly recommend, and you can walk all the way around the stadium, which I presume, like the NFL, I'm sure that'll be exactly the same. But have a proper look around the place and do a proper tour. It's well worth spending 20 minutes to half hour of your time actually walking around the inside of the stadium and looking at all the stuff in the ground. Well worth it, I promise you. Chicken is 5-star restaurant. I wouldn't say it's Michelin, but it is the best fried chicken you'll ever taste. No, eateries in Tottenham? No, not really. You're better off eating first from wherever you're coming from, in all honesty. Top man Dan Clark, Richarlison or Rings, neither. Bamford, love it. Comedy Gold, James. Tiny King, hey James, thanks for the work on the deadline stream today. Kept me company driving from Essex into Peckham doing the A13. Awful traffic. Favourite moment from the Sun Kane partnership last season. Favourite moment from the Sun. To be honest, without thinking about it, just straight away came into the Kane's goal against Arsenal, which they're always going to be the goals that come in my mind first. But when Son was cutting inside and Kane ran round the back of him, Son just reversed it and Kane smashed it in off the bar. I'm not saying that's the best goal between the two of them, but it's I guess it would be my favourite moment would have to be. No, will it? Who are your Sky captains? I'll be Raphinha tonight, assuming now he's going to be fit. Mo Salah tomorrow, and I'll be on Cristiano Ronaldo on Sunday. Jay Barker says, would you swap Nuno for Ollie? Think I know the answer, but I'm curious. No. I need to give Nuno a chance. I need to give him a chance. Solskjaer goes from the brilliant to the catastrophic in one game, doesn't it? He's never more than 2 games from Ollie out, isn't it? To be honest, 1 game the other night, Ollie out. That's the nature of the beast of being Manchester United manager. I get that. FPL Finding Glory, non-FPL questions. Would you ever consider an amateur for all levels of fitness? Mixed 5-a-side for community? What do you mean, like a mixed gender FPL 5-a-side team? I'm not sure if that's what you're trying to say. Full level mixed 5-a-side. I'm not sure what you're saying in the question, but yeah, I don't see why not. The Airbus driver, would you have benched Gray or Pookie? Gray. Nick Hilton is Pep out of order. Covered that earlier on. Right, I'm gonna do. There's way too many more questions. I'll give it 4 more minutes. I'll try and do these quick fire. If you've got any more questions, there's no point putting them in. I won't get to it. All right, let's go quick fire. FPL Hitman, after a few game weeks now, first round of Europe, which manager do you think is getting the sack first in Premier League? Good luck for the game week. Arteta's he's 1 game from it, isn't he, really? 1 bad result. If they lose at Burnley tomorrow, he's fucked again. And if they lose at home to us, he's fucked. He's probably gone. If they lose the 2 league games, he's probably gone. So he's not. I mean, I'm to be honest, right now I'd expect them to win both the games, but he's not far away from it. More realistic answer probably Cisco. We just know historically is what Watford do, right? And they don't look great, and they've got a couple of easy fixtures. So if they don't go well, and I suspect tomorrow might not for them. Franco Dono, Mane's on 99 Liverpool goals, has the highest XG in the league so far, and if he scores versus Palace, he'll become the first Premier League player to score in 9 consecutive games versus the same team. Yeah, but he only scored once from 8 shots in the box the other day, mate. Milan the Villain, Where do you think you're moving from Harrison if he's out for 2-3 weeks? I've bought Raphinha, mate. I bought him in like at 6:15 for a -4. John Simpson, don't always agree with all your selection. It would be boring if we agreed. Best deadline stream by far. Of course. Bloody hell. Imagine how many questions I answer in an hour, and imagine if you agreed with every single one. There's literally nobody. It can't be anybody who agrees with every answer I give. So that's why people shouldn't be offended when I'm trying to answer questions at 100 miles an hour. And that's one of the beauties of football, right? That we can all have our own opinions and think differently. Neil Zappel said, do you play any instruments? Or did at some point, perhaps? Why did I think of that in a way that I shouldn't? No. Pramesh says, James, would you rather have your full head of hair or be 10 years younger? I never had a lot of hair, so I would rather be younger. Yeah, I definitely have the age back. To be honest, I would rather be 20. How old am I? You forget. You get to. I have to work it out from the year I was born. I would rather be 27 and like have like hair at the sides and be proper bald on top and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no. If I go back to being 27, brilliant. The really nice things happened when I was 27. Got together with my missus. Yeah, I said nice things, didn't I? Prabish says, that's the same question. Santosh, how high Spurs will finish this season? I'm going to go for 6th. But with the caveat that if we get to the Europa Conference final, it might be more like 8th or 9th. Meninda says, Sky question, Gallagher or Duffy in for Dunk? I'm going in for Dunk. Did you mean Webster, mate? If you got Dunk, you should not be selling Lewis Dunk. I would assume you meant Webster, in which case Gallagher, as I've said. Rob Pick, knew you didn't cover Gaffer on a differential show as my combined team with Irons in the Expert League has just gone top of the Patron League. As if I've had time to even look at that league. Yes, Meninda's clarified it was in for Webster. Yeah, no props, mate. Right, last one. Nigel Sam, I have Bamford captain. Let's go, everyone. That's not a question. We'll have one more. Let's find a question. A question. Oh, look, webcams and hot girls. Brilliant. Love it. Anurag, no. Will could probably start for City. Yeah, that's not really a question, is it? Oh, look, we're at the end. Ollie says, you think Bamford will score today? Yes. Alex Lacer, wasn't the deadline 6:50? No, it's 6:30, mate. Nicholas, what team are you talking about? I don't know. Alan Ball was 6:30. Garlic 25. About the five-a-side team, should have said can only pick one player from each team. Like it though. Okay, cool. Eric was Eric's back. Was Cancelo a mistake? I'll tell you what a mistake was, mate. Was you putting the same question in this chat twice. Good night and good luck. Joe Finney-Ball is saying about Cisco gone if we don't win the next two. We're talking about Watford. Abdelrahman, Arnold, Sissoko, Jota, Cody. Wonderful. FPL Grand T. Hi, James. Good luck this game week. KP338, Raphinha starts. I guess in Rockstars tweeted that, but we knew that 40 minutes ago, mate. And Dragon says, tempted for Ings to Bamford tonight to catch price rises if Bamford does well? Question. No. Hold fire. Leeds got West Ham next week. Yes, Ings has a tough fixture as well. Hold fire. Okay, that's it, guys. I went through all the content, didn't I? That's it. Bollocks. Have a great weekend. Love you all. Remember to be nice to each other. Hope your arrows are green. Sorry to those I didn't get to question, and apologies for the issue with the benching dilemma. Have a great weekend, everyone. Ciao for now.